So here are a few of the emergency shelters that are shown in your book that I scanned. I'm gonna put them together real quick with a time-lapse shot, just to give you an idea what they could look like with a tarp. Or if you just want a shelter to have for fishing, or just a cheap version of a tent. All right, campers, let's get started on the first shelter. This is a modified lean-to with a tarp. Great place to start. I like using this if there's a storm coming and I want to keep fishing or cook out over a fire. It's great for things like that. Probably not when I'd sleep in, unless it's a clear night and I want to see the stars. I want to keep some of the morning dew and other things off of me. Alright, some key details. Now this isn't the best spot. If you can tell, we're on a bit of a hill out here in the semi-haunted woods of northern New Brighton. But for the video it works. So, the important thing is when you tie your tarp, you want to make sure your knots are tight, but you can get them undone. You want the tarp nice and taut across the top. Otherwise it's going to dip and rain's going to drip in. And on that note, you really want to know which way the weather's coming from. Right now I have the wind sort of blowing into it. So if the rain were coming, I'd probably want to lower the roof a little bit down. If there's not enough grommets, that's these holes, close to the corner, you can always pinch up the tarp and tie it off nice and tight. It'll still work. Now, on the ground, to hold the one corner down, added the rock I found while I was cleaning the ground. And I used broken sticks, like stakes, to the grommets to save some time. And it's one less thing you have to carry. To give us a little bit more space, we just took this big stick that I quickly found and used it to stretch out the back of the tarp and give us a little bit more depth. The nice thing about this setup is you can be on the ground and dry, have a place to comfortably sit, cook out a fish, whatever, and you're not in the mud. Because even if you sit in your yard on a nice day, you're gonna feel the moisture come up through the ground. So this was the lean-to setup. It's nice, it's great for staying active if you have something to do. Next, let's just make a quick roof in case you need some more room, some space to set your gear, things like that. Now, on my way to find a good spot for the quick roof to protect my gear, I found this falling tree, which makes a good quick shelter if you have a storm coming or you just want the traditional triangle tent. So I'm going to use the same method of just staking it down and folding the tent over. You'll see what I mean very shortly. So this shelter, taking advantage of the fallen tree, it's a little bit quicker, it's a little bit tighter, but we got walls on all three sides. If we want, we could take a flap and fold in an end and cover up an end. We have a nice view. This will keep you a lot drier. This is an easy one you can set up with minimal equipment. That's always nice. Take a little nap in here, do what you need to do. So I'm gonna bring the camera in and just give you a look from in here. It's actually surprisingly roomy in here. I've been moving it out a few times to get better shots. You can see a lot of stuff. Flip the view. Close up the uphill side a little bit better. You got a good view out both directions. And if you ever need to get out in a hurry, it's not hard to lift one side out and go. So the simple roof or canopy is just what it sounds like. We're just taking all four corners and tying them to a tree, stretched out as far as we can. You can make a triangle, you can make a square. Basically, you just want a roof to keep the rain off your head, a spot for a group of people to stand or wait for things to blow over. Or if there's heavy rain coming, it's great to put over a tent. So here we go. Not ideal. I'd like to spend a little more time on it, but in a pinch, it'll keep you dry. Better view from the other side. Still need to clean out underneath it, but we'll save that for a real camping day. All right, my socially distanced campers, here's the last shelter. This is a great one if you're in a flat, wide open area, no trees, which we have a lot of trees here, but great for camping out near a beach, in a field, where you're gonna have decent weather, no heavy storms. It's just a ground tarp folded over with a sleeping bag tucked in, but there's a few little tricks that help keep you dry and comfortable. So, I know it looks like I just wrapped my sleeping bag up like a burrito, but there are a few key details that'll help keep you dry and comfortable in light rain. I know I've used this on the beach a few times, or, well, near the beach, when camping out with friends. Let's take a closer look. All right, the bottom layer is completely covered by the top. If you have the top layer over the bottom layer, it's not completely covering it, rain will come down, land on the bottom layer, then go back in and soak into your sleeping bag. Not pleasant. I like having a log or something heavy near the top because you can reach over when you're sleeping and undo the flap real easy. Now, you need some air. Air is important. So I always use like a stick or something to prop open the entrance. Usually I take a piece of rope and tie it at the top here. The idea is not to have a tent. It's basically a waterproof sleeping bag. You're waterproof from the water coming in from underneath you, and you're waterproof from the rain coming down. See, we got the tarp overlapping. It's staked down with some sticks. You could use some rocks to keep the wind from opening it up. There's the bottom end. If you're worried about stuff crawling in, you can always fold it over and put some rocks on it. That's pretty much it. Now, if you're the first one to wake up, you can do what I do. And I get some breadcrumbs and I just sprinkle them on the top of the other people sleeping around me. Then back off and wait for the seagulls to arrive. Because when you're lost in the woods or on lockdown, it's nice to have a little fun. Sometimes you have to do it without technology. And watch your friend Brandon wake up covered in seagulls is a great thing. Have a great week, campers. Check out the notes below. I'm going to save some video time. Just post the notes so you don't have to listen anymore. Have a great week.